Think it's going to work this time?
I don't know. We'll find out if it works or not.
I
And
hope it works.
it's muted while the camera's off anyway, so.
Oh, okay, I hope it works this time.
Oh, I hope it works this time too. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Live from the Owl's Nest. Take two. Had some technical difficulty. We're back to see if we can work through it. I'm Jamie.
I'm Alicia.
Together we make RoyalWise, computer software training and support, specializing in
QuickBooks, Microsoft Office, and
all things Apple. We're really excited today because we have a special guest. Super excited to have a special guest that we're going to talk to a little bit later.
Shannon Theis is going to be joining us to talk about payroll. And it seems like we're having some technical difficulties with popping. I kind of want to muddle through this and see if we can just make it work, since I don't know why we're having the audio issues. But okay, so on November 8th, this coming Tuesday, I have a class about sales tax in QuickBooks Online. And I'm really excited about it because sales tax is kind of complex with everybody working virtually now. Set up your sales tax in QuickBooks Online so that you can charge the right sales tax to the right people for the right products. So we're going to be going through all the ins and outs. And I'm super excited because there is a brand new tool that actually looks at your economic nexus to see if you have done enough sales in a particular state, according to that state's guidelines, that you actually need to register with the state and file taxes. So this class is coming up this coming Tuesday, November 8th. It's going to be from 10 to 11:30. And so if you go to our website at royalwise.com and click on the calendar, you can enroll for that class. And on some of the feeds, we've got a link for you down in the bottom as well. So that wanted to get that one out in a nutshell. And now, drum roll, we have a special guest with us today because next week after my sales tax class, we are starting payroll in November and December. And so I am delighted to bring to you Shannon Ballman Theis, who is known as the payroll queen. And Shannon and I have known each other for a few years. And, I'm currently editing my chapter in my book about payroll, and I've got a class coming up in December about payroll in QuickBooks Online. But I'm not an authority on knowing how do you set up PTO and payroll in the bigger sense. And so I invited Shannon to come on as our November guest instructor. And so she's going to be joining us for a class in payroll compliance on Tuesday, November 15th. And so Shannon, welcome to Live from the Owl's Nest.
Well, thank you. Gosh, it's such a pleasure to be here. And then I just wanted to make a note. Alicia announced it in our trial run, but it didn't get announced this time, that starting with the sales tax class, she gets CPE now. So
Yes.
Why don't you tell them a little bit more about that?
Yeah, thank you. We have finally been authorized from NASBA to offer continuing professional education credits, or CPE credits, which are the continuing education credits that accountants need in order to maintain their licenses. And so now when you come to any of our live events, any of our webinars, you get CPE credit. So these are our first CPE authorized events coming up this month. So thank you for reminding me.
No problem. So like Alicia said, we've known each other at least peripherally for a while. We've met in person for the first time in 2019. It's been a little bit.
Yeah.
So we've been trying to figure out how could we do something together. And Alicia asked me if I could do a basic payroll, introduction, teach you the ins and outs of payroll before you get set up in a software, and which is going to go perfectly with the course that she's teaching in December on using QuickBooks Online to run the payroll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the trainings that I do are all QuickBooks based, but you don't have to be using QuickBooks. a lot of people don't use QuickBooks. And so understanding how payroll works on the macro level is really important. And so I wasn't really covering that sufficiently. I knew that it was a gap in my offerings or in my curriculum. And so I'm really delighted that I get to have the payroll queen come in and help people understand how payroll taxes work and withholdings and FICA and insurance benefits and all of that.
Hey, rule number one of Fight Club is you don't talk about. Oh wait, FICA.
FICA.
Oh, FICA. I get confused. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
So,
but a
so
funny story about FICA
yeah,
is when it's
we
it's
need
just
funny
a
stories
general
about
story. People when they start their first job, they get their paycheck and it's a lot less than what they were thinking it was going to be, and then they get all mad. Who's this FICA and why are they taking my check?
Yeah.
So and even adults. And I really sucked on the delivery on that. That's why I'm a payroll expert, not a comedian. But we, even adults and people who, accountants, don't necessarily always understand how payroll works. And so I've really built a business around training people how payroll works. So I'm excited to help Alicia with a Royal Wise class
Yeah.
on payroll.
What are some of the topics that you're going to be covering?
We will talk about sorry, somebody just knocked on our door here. As I get a little distracted. We're in a campground. So we're going to talk about the different types of compensation that you can pay your employees, whether it's salary or hourly. And the basic, how do you know if you have an employee or a contractor? Because sometimes people think, oh, it's just cheaper to pay people as a contractor when they're really an employee, and then they get into trouble.
Mhm.
And then the setting up PTO. Do you want to set up sick time, vacation time? How do you pay holiday pay? Different tax deductions, how to know if they're pre-tax or post-tax, different types of contributions that the company can make, and everybody's least favorite, garnishments, and how to properly run those through payroll.
Yeah, I'm particularly interested in pre-tax versus or post-tax because you can actually save money by having different types of benefit plans. And I know that with QuickBooks Online, it's funny because you don't go set up your policies and then set up your payroll. You set them up on the fly while you're setting up your employees. And so all of a sudden somebody.
Your audio just cut out, Alicia. I think your mic was changing.
Okay, we're working on it. Is it any better yet?
Are you back? Can you hear me?
Can we hear me yet?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. You just cut out
apologize to
after.
everybody for the audio trouble. We're not sure why this is continuing to haunt us.
I think Mercury's in retrograde or something's happening out there in the bigger world. I think.
So I know that when I first started out with my business, I hadn't even put a thought to what should my sick leave policies be or my vacation policies. And QuickBooks Online is interesting because you don't set up the policies and then set up the employees. You actually set up the policies while you're setting up your employees. So I was putting in our first employee and I'm like, oh, I don't even have a sick policy. What should we do? Do we do it? Do we front load it? Do they earn it? How should I actually design this policy? And so I'm particularly interested in knowing what makes happy employees? Do they want it up front? Do they want to earn it? Do we want I also remember before I owned my own business calling up the boss and oh, I don't feel well today. And then having to lie about it, which compromises my integrity. And so with Royal Wise, we decided that we're just going to have this big PTO pool. And I don't care if they want to go out and, go camping for the weekend or if they're genuinely sick, as long as they're making up their time and they have their leave.
Right. Yeah. And some of the stuff that we're going to talk about is borderline human resources
Mhm.
and not payroll. But yeah, and one thing that you just have to keep in mind is it doesn't matter what your policy is, as long as it's in the handbook.
Mhm.
And as a side note, if you don't have a handbook, you should get one. have an HR person create one for you. It's money well spent, because half of the time we'll as payroll professionals, we'll go to the client and we'll say, we need your handbook so we know how to process payroll. And that they feed each other. So it's always important to have a handbook. And I'm not going to really talk about that during the class. So I'm mentioning it now. But yeah, and along
Just
with the leash.
one cool thing about that handbook, though, is that if you have QuickBooks Online payroll at the premium level or the elite level, you actually get an HR center. And one of the features of an HR center is that there is actually a self-service tool where you can create your employee manual. And that's actually what I did, is I used that
Awesome.
to step through how do I actually define these. And then I gave everybody a copy of my handbook, and I felt all grown up.
Well, if they're going to feed us, I hope there's garnishes and not garnishments.
Well,
That's
you'll
my
know
job,
you
know,
got
just
you'll know you got garnished if you get an envelope of parsley instead of a check.
there we go. Amen.
Right on. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about PTO. We're going to be talking about garnishments, deductions, contributions, employer portion versus employee portion. Am I on the right track with all of this stuff?
Yeah, so we actually, part of what we do is we actually fake run a payroll on paper
Mhm.
with the gross wages, the deductions, and then we go to another screen and we talk about, the employer costs, where we have the gross wages and the employer contributions and
Mhm.
the employer taxes. So I try to lay it out simple, like I'm explaining it to my child who is getting their first job, because it's all important information and nobody teaches you this anywhere.
Right.
So
Exactly. That was exactly why I wanted to create a class like this, because it's not even specific to QuickBooks. You could be running your payroll with ADP or Gusto or manually. It's more about just the meaning behind it and understanding how payroll works.
yeah, absolutely. It is totally a behind the scenes payroll for beginners.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yeah. So this class is going to be good for new business owners. This class is going to be good for business owners who maybe they were having somebody else handle their own payroll, handling the payroll, but they're bringing it in house. Somebody who maybe is established, but they're moving from contractors to employees. Anybody who really wants to understand the mechanics behind it. I love the fact that you're going to walk through a sample payroll during the process.
Yeah, and some of the other people that this is good for are bookkeepers who don't understand payroll and maybe want to start offering payroll
Mhm.
to their clients, but they want to have a basic understanding of it too. So it really goes from all the different levels of people.
Excellent. Good. Yeah, I love the fact that we've identified that this training doesn't exist, and so being able to put it together is really super cool. But you do have your own trainings as well, right? What?
Yeah, I have a Kajabi page. Do you want? Did I send you the link for that? Should I just say that now, or?
If we
Come to the class, you'll get the link. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Come
it'll
join
be
us for
there.
class, and that's the whole idea.
All right, and but here's one cool thing is that anybody who comes and takes this class with us is actually going to get a discount code for Shannon's other programs, as well as my QBO payroll class that is going to be coming up in December. So if you come to this class, you actually are going to get discounts both on Shannon's full payroll as well as my QBO payroll.
Yeah, it'll be for all of the beginner level courses. I have some advanced where I'm teaching accountants how to do employee retention credit. It's not going to be on that, But it would be, I have a course on teaching you how to pay your children tax-free legally. And so that would definitely be in there.
Excellent.
And it'll be just about everything except for the stuff that says that it's accountant specific.
Okay, good. Well, that's great. I mean, the fact that you have classes on ERC and on your hiring your kids, that's such necessary information. It's really great to find like those little tax strategies and those little hints that allow us to improve our bottom line as we're going.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, all right, we're looking forward to a great class.
Yeah.
Should be super, super fun. And no, nothing's happened in the Apple world, by the way.
Really? What?
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing.
Well, we'll recap that next week.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We're done.
I think we're good. Shannon, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
I do not. I will in 5 minutes, but I don't have anything right now.
Well, excellent. Well, we will continue the conversation. I have a group called Training for QuickBooks Users on Facebook, that's where we do most of our chit-chatting. And so everybody is welcome to come and join us there. If you have any questions about the class, you can just find either this live from the Owl's Nest broadcast or the links to Shannon's class and ask questions there, and we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, and I also have a Facebook group. It's Payroll Solutions Community for business owners, and I will have that link ready for the course. I didn't get a custom URL, and I don't want to grab that right now. Or, I just don't. It'll take me a minute to grab it, and I know we're going to end before I get it grabbed. That's what I meant to say.
Okay,
but yeah, it's where
no
business
problem.
owners can ask any specific payroll questions that pertain to them. It's where you can go and get answers to the questions that you have.
Excellent, because everybody's got questions. I mean, I've come to you with my own questions, so you've always been a big help to me. All right, well, excellent. I think Jeff actually just put up a link to your group on there as well.
He found it.
Yeah. All right, well, excellent. So again, the class is going to be on Tuesday, November 15th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So
Pacific
2-hour
time.
class, Pacific time. If you're on the East Coast, it's going to be from 1 to 4 o'clock. The class is $97. It comes with 2 continuing education credits, and you get the recording of the class with lifetime access, including the course has its own chat forum. So as you're watching the videos, if you have questions, you can just head over to the group chat inside the class and ask questions there. And then a little bell goes off and I get a ding ding, and then we can get those questions answered for you. All right. So thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Shannon, for joining us today.
Yay, Shannon.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate the opportunity to help the business owners understand payroll.
Absolutely. All right. I will look forward to a week from Tuesday. And bye, everybody. My name's Alicia.
I'm Jamie.
And we will see you in class.
See you guys in class next time.